Good morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning is on Milwaukee County, and here to talk about the issues and his goals for the near future is Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's always a pleasure to be on with you.
Oh yes, I am so excited to have you on because we've followed you throughout your political career. You've come on, always willing to come on and talk about the issues with us. To have you here in this capacity really is a privilege. So first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
On being elected Milwaukee County Executive. This past April, you became the first African American to serve as the county's top official, and at the age of 34, yes, the youngest as well. So it's been about 4 months since you've been elected. Talk about how this transition has been for you.
Well, it's definitely been an interesting one when you just think about COVID-19 in general. And so what we've been doing is coming in, looking at what the current team looks like, who we wanted to bring in from the outside. But more importantly, we're really focusing on the Milwaukee County vision. And so we've been focusing on how do we create that inclusion, be much more intentional on how we bring people to the table here within Milwaukee County. At the end of the day, the first thing we need to focus on is how do we stay ahead of the curve and making sure that we keep people safe as it relates to the coronavirus. And so we've been able to do that thus far, but we know that the pandemic is still here. Everything that we've done, we need to continue to do more. And it's about making sure that we lean on federal and state officials to get it done.
Absolutely. And so with that said, the office comes with the challenges of maintaining the county's cultural and recreational assets, the county transit systems, financial concerns, the health complex, the mental health complex, and then of course, as you just mentioned, we're in the middle of a pandemic, which nobody could prepare for. So COVID-19 has been a concern since you've been in office. Many of us watched you be sworn in right there in your front yard because of the stay-at-home order at the time. So the pandemic, needless to say, has truly highlighted the inequities when it comes to healthcare, especially among minorities here in Milwaukee County. So let's talk about how you begin to see a change looking from things in that perspective.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we've been trying hard as hell to try to keep people safe. And I mean, we were the first ones to do a universal mask ordinance for all Milwaukee County employees because we know this is a challenge, especially not having a health department or the authority to do certain things within Milwaukee County. So what we've been doing is trying to meet the demand of our residents, especially those in historically underserved neighborhoods. We know that this affected the Black community much more dramatically in the beginning and continues to still do. About a third of the Milwaukee County COVID-19 cases are African Americans, and we make up 60% of the deaths here in Milwaukee County. And so we've been doing everything that we can to really help provide some relief, and we've been working with the county board to do that. And so in order to do that, it's really about, we received CARES funding, and so we wanted to put an influx of funding into the community. So first thing we did was put $10 million into eviction prevention programs, $3 million for mortgage assistance, $7 million to aid small businesses, as well as $3.5 million to really focus on getting people employment opportunities and training. And last but not least, we are also putting money into behavioral health and mental health services for those who are uninsured and been directly impacted by COVID-19. So that's about $1.6 million. And so we know that we have been on the front lines of this pandemic. We're going to continue to be on the front lines of this pandemic because we here at Milwaukee County, when you think about the Milwaukee County Transit System, when you think about Behavioral Health Division, all the entities that you named, we have to still provide those services. And so we're going to continue to do that while doing everything that we can to provide those resources, not only to make sure that we can continue to provide those services, but so everybody in this community can thrive as well.
Absolutely. And, anybody that stops and thinks of the amount of responsibilities that you have as the county executive, not only the things that you just spoke of, but also figuring out how the courthouse is going to function, senior centers and correctional facilities and all of these things. So how have you been able to kind of get back to business, keeping safety in mind?
Well, one, our goal is to keep COVID-19, but one of the things, the mission and vision of Milwaukee County is to become the healthiest county by achieving racial equity. And so what we're doing is we're making sure to make decisions that directly impact communities of color, underserved communities. When you think about HOC, we're making sure to provide masks for all of the folks who are currently being housed there. I mean, unfortunately, we can't have too many people coming in and providing the services and programs that we absolutely believe in, but we have to make sure that we're focusing on safety first. When you think about our Milwaukee County transit system, we want to make sure that people can still utilize that transit system to go to the doctor's office, if the schools open up, they may have to use it to go to school, but more importantly, to get to work. But we're also providing masks for those folks. So we are doing everything that we can with the amount of dollars that we have. But the thing about it is that we're also facing about $100 million budget gap in lost revenue alone because so many people haven't been able to go to their favorite store, go to their favorite restaurant, even though we should be, particularly with takeout, so we can keep our economy going. And so what we've been doing is making sure to take proper steps to work with businesses, work with the public sector, to find ways to provide the economy some type of boost while also keeping people safe. And I will tell you, it is challenging when you think about all 18 different departments that we have within Milwaukee County. But it's about how do we knock down all of these silos and make sure that there's this streamless relationship between all of the departments. So no matter where you touch Milwaukee County, you're getting the services you absolutely need. And this is a moment that we have to take advantage of. We're in the middle of two pandemics when you think about COVID-19 and racism. And right now we're trying to do everything we can to tackle them both.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because you recently delivered your speech emphasizing your plan to make Milwaukee the healthiest county and most equitable within the state. You called it your vision address. Mm-hmm. And you specifically said that we are facing two pandemics, one COVID-19, the other is racism. And since 2019, county government has been operating under a legal declaration that racism is a public health crisis and made it a policy goal for the county to achieve racial equity. So I feel like it's much easier said than done because we live in a city that carries a label of being the most segregated city in America. And you also hear that it's the worst place for an African-American to live, the worst place to raise an African-American child. The list goes on. So you did come up with a plan of action in order to change the narrative of these things that we're constantly talking about. But overall, as a city, a county, a state, have had a hard time really digging in and changing the narrative. So you said there's 3 areas of focus, right?
Yes, there are 3 areas of focus. And those 3 areas is first, we want to create intentional inclusion. This way we can make sure that people in positions of power and influence represent the full diversity and interests of all of our residents. So it's about making sure that those who are directly affected by the policies and processes that we put in place, that we include them in the decision-making process. We also want to make sure that we are bridging the gap in racial health disparities because we want to make it easier to access services that meet the holistic needs of our residents. Too many times people come to Milwaukee County or some other type of program and they only get the issues one by one. It's a one-by-one thing. We want to create Milwaukee County to be a one-stop shop. So again, there's no wrong door. The no wrong door concept says that if you touch us in whatever capacity, we want to make sure that we can continue to provide all the other needs that you have. And finally, we want to invest in equity, meaning that we want to align our budget priorities with sufficient investment in our residents and our communities so we no longer have to worry about just surviving. We want everybody to thrive. And so we have to continue to invest in equity. It is a part of our mission statement again. And I know that it's not going to be the easiest thing. But what we're doing is we're making an intentional effort to frame the county's strategic plan, the first one that we've done in over 20 years to focus explicitly on achieving health and racial equity. And it is going to be an uphill battle, but the more and more buy-in we get, not only from Milwaukee County employees, but our residents as well, the quicker we'll get to that finish line.
Yeah, and when you talk about race in general, especially dealing with racism, sometimes people are very uncomfortable with that subject and they feel like well, what's racist? I'm not racist, or whatever the case may be. So how has some of the residents received the messaging of dealing with racism in Milwaukee County?
Well, I think things are slowly changing. So we made the decision in 2019 of last year. Since then, about 3,000 of Milwaukee County employees have been through some type of training, whether we're talking about microaggressions or racism. And they have fully been on board with it, especially many of our managers when we think about problem solving within different divisions and departments here. But when you think about what we did, being the first jurisdiction in the country to do it, we've seen 80 communities across the country, and the list is still growing about who's adopting these types of policies, making sure to say explicitly racism is a public health crisis. Mm-hmm. And locally, we've started to see other municipalities who are interested in tackling these as well. So we've had some initial conversations with places like Glendale, West Dallas, Wauwatosa, and even South Milwaukee to figure out how can we include what we're doing here in Milwaukee County and spread it out to all the other municipalities.
I think that's welcome news, and that's the only way we are going to achieve the goal, is working together and all really understanding that there is a problem, and working together we can fix it. So correct me if I'm wrong, Milwaukee County is 71st out of 72 on the list of healthiest counties in the state?
Yes, that is true, unfortunately.
Wow. So when we talk about being the healthiest, you've mentioned racism. We've talked about health inequities. What are some of the other things that fall under being the healthiest county?
Well, one, we just have to look at our policies and practices, right? I mean, the problem has really been that for generations, we've had racist policies and practices at all levels that unequally distributed healthcare access, job opportunities, educational access, all social health determinants that have a big health impact on health outcomes. And so we're doing everything that we can. I mean, that's it's kind of hard to answer, because it's like, there's so much more that we have to look at. And when people think about racial equity, I mean, no, we don't have a North Star necessarily to point to. But what we can do is make sure that we're doing everything that we can to minimize the disparate impacts that we continuously see. So within our housing department, trying to find everything that we can do to make sure that we continue to reduce our homeless population. We see the amount of evictions that have currently been filed, and we're thinking about the future. How do we make sure that we can continue to keep people within their homes? Mm-hmm. And when we think about our eviction prevention program, a majority of the people who have been utilizing it have been people of color and women of color. And so we need to continue to tackle different types of issues that have directly affected people of color all across Milwaukee County. And so we're coming up with different types of metrics, utilizing our budget, our racial budget equity tool, to make sure that all of our departments, when we think about not only just investments, but as well as cuts, making sure that they're equitable and making sure that we're not doing any more harm to many of these underserved communities.
I thank you so much for sharing all that with us. And if it's okay with you, we're going to take a quick break, and then we will return and take a look at your 5 calls to action when it comes to your vision for Milwaukee County. We'll discuss that and a whole lot more right after this. We'll continue our conversation with Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley.